Well, one area that we look at with our athletes is we will make sure that they're not dieting on the bike. They're not dieting in their workouts, where they will think like, oh,
Intro workout we're talking about.
yeah, like, or even like before a workout, like, oh, I'm going to do this fasted and see if I can like burn
Okay.
more body fat, or um, I'm going to skip this gel because I'm going to save those calories because I'm trying to like drop some pounds.
Yeah.
I find that that often really backfires significantly for athletes because when your performance and your workouts suffer, they feel like crap. You finish the workout feeling absolutely exhausted and like garbage.
But
And
also
then you end up,
intuitively as well. Like, how many athletes you ever trained with that you're like, they're way overweight because they eat too much on the bike? Like, I've just
yeah.
never come across that. It's like, yeah, maybe pass on like the fourth helping of dessert. Like, that could be your problem, not the extra handful of
Yeah,
Haribo
I feel like it's the day-to-day nutrition where we can make the biggest improvements, and then fueling the workouts really well is where we tend to see people still perform well while seeing that body composition get leaner over time. So we have to be in this mindset of like, no, this energy that I'm taking in, it's going straight to my muscles, it's getting used as energy, I'm going to feel great in this workout. And then you're not going into the rest of the day in this massive deficit and then kind of fighting with your body of like, well, I'm hungry because I'm like way behind on nutrition because I biked for, 2 hours today, but I didn't get enough during that bike. And so that way the rest of the day you actually feel decent and you're able to still make decent food choices instead of having this like battle with your willpower.
Yeah, I cycled in an era where sports nutrition was totally different, where you would literally fall in the door after 6 hours. I rode for a French team, and a lot of the theory was around fasted rides, and they went up 4 or 5 hour depletion rides, we'll call them, where you'd have no carbohydrates the night before, no carbohydrates in the morning, and then do the session on just water or water and salt tablets. And you would fall in the door. And I continued that when I stopped racing full time into kind of my amateur period. And what I found was, and anecdotally, when I observed friends that exhibited the same behavior, we massively underfueled during the session and then massively overfueled after the session. I wonder, is there data to show the quality of your decision making post ride when you fuel adequately versus don't fuel adequately in session?
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen any research, but I would say anecdotally in my experience as an athlete and working with athletes, it's like cognitively when you are like ravenously hungry, like there's like you're never making any good decisions with food.
Yeah, it's
like
willpower.
you're just
It's shot.
yeah, it's your body's just like, I need the fastest, quickest, easiest, most high calorie energy possible right now because I am needing to, like, it's in this survival mode. Our bodies are very keen on living, and so it's going to say like, look for the sweets, the candies, the high fat foods, like the peanut butter jar with this, and grab a spoon and be eating, peanut butter from the spoonful. I mean, that's where people
Speculoos.
are.
Have you tasted that?
Speculoos? What is that?
You know what this is? Oh my gosh, it's going to change your life. You're gonna abandon your career in sports nutrition and just go full time eating speculoos.
What is speculoos?
So I found it in Belgium when I was racing there first. So it's the little tea biscuits you get on the side of a coffee in Europe. The little brown tea biscuits you get. It's all of those mashed up in a blender and mixed together. So it's a paste like Nutella that's served at breakfast time in Belgium and France. And I used to literally bring home tubs and sell it to friends when I was racing out there. Like, it will ruin your life.
Well, for a long time I had never had Nutella, and then I recently introduced it to my life a few years ago, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the best.
It's so good. But it is crazy how fast you can take in a large amount of calories with not just those pastes and spreads, but like an ice cream. If you sit down and eat like half a tub of Ben and Jerry's, it's crazy how many calories that is. Whereas like you could easily get through 500 calories, but to get through 500 calories of, I don't know, potatoes or pasta, like that's a lot of eating. Should I get through 500 calories of apples? And like your jaw's kind of
Yes.
go up first.
Yeah, that's a lot of fiber. You can be very full. So I think like if we can fuel on the bike really well and then make great choices the rest of the day, that is really going to set people up for success in seeing that body composition improve while also feeling really great in their performances. Because like I said, that's where most people, they start dieting and then they like can't finish their workouts. They're failing their workouts. They're having to cut them short. They don't want to work out anymore because they don't have the energy for it. And it's like, that's not what we want. We want to have the best of both worlds. So we have to balance that.
But would it be fair to say we need to make a restriction somewhere? Like if we're fueling well on the bike, we need to have some sort, especially for, I don't want to pigeonhole everyone listening to the podcast. I'm sure there's some guys who are working in construction and super active during the day, but a lot of us now, our lifestyle is migrated to quite sedentary, Zoom calls, long periods in office and cars, commuting. Like, what's our caloric need for the rest of the day's activity? How do we go about estimating that? And then by virtue of that, start to understand how much of a deficit we can make and on what days.
Yeah. Well, I think it gets a little tricky when people start asking me like, oh, how many calories should I be eating? Because I'm like, well, how many are you eating right now? Because if you don't understand like how much you're taking in, like what's the point in even calculating how much you need, right? So I think there has to be some sort of understanding of like, okay, where are there gaps in your nutrition? Are you under fueling right now, or are you in a calorie surplus? Like, where are you at before we even calculate someone's needs? I had a conversation.
Sorry to cut across. Would you baseline that with a 7-day like MyFitnessPal?
Yeah, like a week-long diary. As long as it's pretty standard to what you typically eat, you can kind of get an average of how much you're taking in. Or sometimes I see athletes that are just wildly inconsistent.
We have 3 long-form podcasts every week. Some of them are 90 minutes or 2 hours long, and I realize you're busy. Sometimes it's hard to cut through the noise and figure out the signal, figure out what the important parts are of these conversations. So I've taken your feedback, and once a week I'm delivering to your inbox a newsletter called The Saturday Spin. It's a 4-minute read or less, and it's going to break down the very best thing I've learned on the podcast this week. So it's insights from the biggest names in the world tour, physiologists, sports psychologists, and coaches. It's completely free to sign up to the newsletter. All you have to do is go to roadmancycling.com, stick in your email address, and once a week on a Saturday morning, I will deliver the Saturday Spin newsletter direct to your inbox. The link is down below. Go sign up.